Hello, good afternoon. How are you all? Happy Friday. And I want to extend a special welcome to all of our new members that have joined the group this week. We're really thrilled to have you. So Mark, hello, Federico, Lauren, Claire, great to have you with us, Fabienne. We've also got Antonia and Abhay, Ryan, Sabrina and Christoph. So thank you so much for joining. We really hope that you feel supported in this community and that you're able to contribute and add your voices and let us know what you need in order to support you, structure your business, structure your team and get yourself set up for success in 2020. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about goals and priorities, and it's really leading on from last week where we talked about vision and mission. And I just wanted to reinforce a couple of things that I actually said last week, which is that goals for some people are really hard, and I would put myself in that category. All the way through my life, people have asked me, from a career perspective, what do you really want? What's your goal? People ask you in interviews, where do you want to be in 5 years' time? And I always hated that question. Hi Gary, thanks for joining. So for some people seem to really know what they want in their life, and for other people it's a constant challenge and a constant kind of evolution, but I think it's such an important question. And in the work that I do with clients, it's something that I keep coming back to. What do you really want? Because everything comes through that lens. Like Joni and I have just been in a client workshop, a kind of kick-off session for a new piece of work that we're doing. And that's the first question is, what are your objectives? What are you trying to achieve here? What is it that you really want? Because I believe you can actually build any kind of business. You can build a small business that's around you and your capabilities. You can build a small team. You can grow yourself into quite a nice little team where it's a really nice lifestyle business that's giving you a great income, or you can set your sights on world domination and conquering the international market. So success looks very different for each and every one of us, and that comes down to what is it really that you want. And I think some people find goal setting really hard. I shared with you last week this concept of Ikigai, and I'd just like to reinforce that again for those of you that missed it, because it's a really important concept. You start off with what is it that I love to do, because often when we think about what we might want to do, we get distracted or we get defeated by all the reasons why it's not going to work. So I think it is important to say, what do I love? What I really love doing? What do I enjoy doing? What am I good at? That's also then really important, because they might not be the same thing. There are plenty of people that are good at something that they don't really enjoy. So I think getting that meeting point between what you love to do and what you're good at is really important. Then of course there is the angle, unless you're in the fortunate position where you don't need to earn money from your business. Most of us are in the situation where money is an angle here for business, or is an aspect of what we're doing when we go to work. And so what can I get paid for? What will people pay me for? And then the fourth angle is really, what does the world need? When you look out into the world, what do you feel compelled to change? What is it that drives you in your business? What is it? What's the big mission? What do they call it? The big, scary, audacious goals. What's that big picture that maybe you don't admit to anybody else, but the thing that actually drives you on a cold November, a grey November morning to get out of bed? Like, what is that for you? What gets you out of bed? So I think once you've got a good sense of that, you can start setting yourself goals, but it is really hard to you've got that big scary goal, and then how do you break that down? How do you break that down into like annual goals, let's say? So what do I want to achieve this year, next year? And then breaking that down into months and weeks and even days. So what does that mean? And that constant tactical to strategic is one of the most challenging things about being a business owner, and it is about being organised, and it is about prioritising, and that's then what I want to discuss now. So once you've got a bit of an idea of where you're going and crucially why that's where you're going, why that's important to you, then you need to prioritise, and that is something that we're all having to do every single day. And you can only really, in my experience, effectively prioritise if you are really clear about your goals, because then everything you do It's about saying, is that going to lead me to what I'm trying to achieve? Is that going to get me to my goal? Is that going to get me closer? So let me give you an example. If you are in business because you need to earn a living, if that's one of your primary drivers or one of your primary needs, then you might look at what you're spending your time doing, and everything that you do, you might say, is this getting me closer to earning money? Is this activity going to get me towards earning money? If it's about reaching more people and having an impact on more people, again, you would say, when you plan your week or your month, is this getting me to more exposed to more people? Is this getting me and my message out in front of more people? So prioritizing, I think it really only works in conjunction with a goal. Once your goal is clear, then your priorities become clear, because then you put everything through that filter. I encourage my clients to look at their diary, spend a couple of minutes, maybe on a Friday afternoon or even sometime over the weekend, set aside 5 minutes, look back at your calendar for the last week, look back at your diary. What did you actually spend your time on, and how well does that map towards your goal? Did you spend a lot of time doing things that you should do, or did you spend your time working on things that will advance you forward in pursuit of your goal and ultimately your business's goal? Now, one of the things that stops people, myself included, setting really clear goals sometimes, is that we know that they will move a lot over time. So again, depending on your profile, and for those of you that haven't yet got yourself profiled, please do. It will really change your life. It will really help you understand yourself and how you work with others, and how you go through these processes of building a business. So in my case, I always want things to move quickly. I have a lot of what's called dynamo energy, which is very impatient and wanting to move fast, and a lot of business owners have that feeling. And what that means is that we're constantly refining our goals, we're constantly getting clearer, we're constantly getting new information, new inputs, we're learning, and that can be completely overwhelming. I know myself that it can be completely overwhelming. And so even more important to regularly ask yourself, what is it that you want? Now, I hope that this isn't sounding overly simplistic, because in a way it is really simple, but it's such a complicated question, and it's also one that needs to be asked on a regular basis. At different points in your business journey, you might have different answers to that question. And so when I start working with bigger companies, so I work with a number of companies that have 10, 15 people in their teams, and maybe they've been going quite a number of years, and maybe they're quite settled, they know how they're working, they've got their customers, that they understand, they've built quite a nice little business, but they're struggling to take it up to the next level. And it all comes back to, what is it that you want? Do you want more sales? Do you want a bigger team? Do you want more profits? What is it actually that is driving you? And then all of the decisions and all of the planning then can be looked through that lens. So making a plan and making those priorities all comes back to getting really clear about what you want. And I would say, don't beat yourself up if that changes. Don't beat yourself up if that refines over time. It has changed a lot for me over the years, and I'm sure it still will. And it's easy to give yourself a hard time about that. It's easy to say, why didn't I know this? Why didn't I get clear about this? Clarity, I think, is something that we constantly have to strive for. I certainly do. But it's worth spending the time each week, each month, each quarter, each year at different levels, saying, what is it that I really want? And therefore, am I aligning my resources? So my personal energy, my money, my time, my team, my business assets, everything, is it all aligned into what it is that I want to do? And that might change, as I say, over time. You might start off with one goal. As you get a bit older, or maybe your family situation changes, or you just decide that you want different things. I shared with you last week, I started the first few years of my working life, I thought I wanted to be managing director of Xerox, and I soon discovered after a few years that that actually isn't what I wanted to do. So what we want can change, and that's why it's such an important question to ask ourselves, and that's what goals and priorities are all about. And it isn't more complicated than that. People like to dress it up and make it really flashy. It isn't more complicated than that. I'm not saying it's an easy question to answer, but it is really that simple. What is it that you actually want? What is it that you're building, and why are you building it? And then all of your plans and priorities can align with that, and you can review everything in light of that. So they are my thoughts on goals and priorities. Let me know what you think. Add in your comments. Let us know what your goals are. Have they shifted over time? Do you still want the same thing as you did when you started your business? Do you think you'll still want the same in a year or two's time? Where are you with your goals? But also, how do you prioritise? How often do you look at your priorities, and how often do you assess what you're spending your time on and whether it's really aligned? I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts. Let us know what you've thought of today's live, but also let us know what else we can do to support you in this community. Thrilled that we're building a really great group. We're going to be coming to you with some details of an event that we've got planned later on this year. So hope you're all well. I wish you a happy Friday afternoon and a great weekend, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care. Bye now.